I know you guys are all like, Danny, what the fuck? You got straight hair, sis? What? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Danny from Smack Talk Danny. Alright, before you guys start talking your shit, yes, I blew dry my hair because I just couldn't take it anymore, and I wanted to see how long my hair was after I blow dry it. So I'm like, you know what, whatever, I'm gonna blow dry my hair, let me take advantage. And you know what, it came out really nice. I don't regret it, so whatever. And I decided to just, you know, I'm not just gonna stick to curly hair because I do get urges to just straighten my hair at times. So I'm gonna just do the best of both worlds. So whatever I'm feeling that day, whether it's curly or straight, hopefully you guys like it too, okay? Because that's what I like, so that's what I'm gonna do. So let's get on with this video. As you guys could tell, I am going to do my labor and delivery story while I get ready. So if you want to see how I got this face beat and hear about my labor and delivery story, stay tuned and keep on watching. All right, so I already did my eyebrows, and if you want to know how I do my eyebrows, I have a video already up on my channel, so go check that out after you finish watching this video, so you can know how I do my eyebrows. Because let me tell you, some of you girls need it, okay? So do yourself that favor, go watch that video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My labor and delivery story. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people have multiple kids, because that shit, I mean, every pregnancy obviously is different, but that shit was intense. So the first thing, my pregnancy was really good. Like, I had a really good pregnancy, and I'm not even gonna complain. I didn't even have morning sickness like that. I didn't even know I was pregnant till I was like 3 months. So that goes to show you I didn't really have morning sickness. And like, I threw up, but the only thing that was making me throw up was certain things that I was eating. So like, let's say I would have a sandwich and the sandwich was sitting out for a little longer than usual, and it had mayonnaise, like old mayonnaise was making me throw up. So you know how you buy a sandwich in the morning and then you save the other half for lunch or whatever. I don't know if y'all do that, but I sometimes do that. The other half that I will eat for lunch will make me throw up because the mayonnaise in it would be old. And then that's how you know McDonald's is old, because I remember I bought a chicken and I didn't even finish swallowing the bite that I had taken, and that shit was out the door. So that McChicken was old. So McDonald's, you better watch yourself, because you could get a lawsuit for that shit. So other than that, I felt great. I was moving, I was working up until the very last day, till my doctor was like, yo sis, cut it out because you're wilding. So when I turned when I finally hit my 3rd trimester, I remember I went to get my ultrasound finally after like mad long. Like, I was telling the doctor like, yo, when am I gonna get my ultrasound, because y'all playing with me, y'all really playing with me. I didn't see my child. The last ultrasound I had before my 36-week appointment was at my 20 week, so that's wild long for me to wait. Like, I was like getting anxious, like, yo, what's the baby doing? Is she growing okay? Is she doing fine? Like, does she got 10 fingers, 10 toes? Like, what's going on? They're not telling me nothing. They was like, oh no, you're healthy, blah blah blah. How you know I'm healthy if you're not looking inside my stomach? Like, how you know? Tell me how you know. My 36-week appointment, I finally got my ultrasound, and I told the lady like, how big is the baby? She's like, oh, the baby's only like 6.5 pounds, blah blah blah. She's gonna be a small girl. She's gonna be a small baby. Like, by the time you hit maybe 40 weeks, you know, like she might be like 7.5 pounds, but she's gonna be a small baby. I'm like, oh, okay. But to me, I'm counting that I'm gonna give birth sooner, because apparently I had it convinced in my head. I had convinced myself that I was going to go into labor early because my mom had went into labor early for me. But it don't work that way, clearly. So my 37-week appointment came and nothing's happening. I ain't even dilating. Well, they said I was dilating. No, I'm lying. My 38th week, I went to the doctor and I had to ask permission to go to the city to go back home because we had to take care of certain things. And we asked the doctor, like, hey, how big is the baby? Like, am I dilating? So they checked me. They was like, oh, you might be like 1 centimeter. So I'm hyped. I'm like, oh shit, I'm finally dilating. And whatever. So we ended up going to the city, did what we had to do, and then we came back. Then for my, because after you hit your 3rd trimester, you go back to the doctors every week now. So my 39th week appointment, the doctor that I had, I asked him, can you check me? Because I want to know if I dilated. It's been a week already, like what's going on. He checked me. So the way that my doctor, the clinic that I went, my OBGYN, they have rotating doctors, so you get to see doctors and midwives so that they get to know you and know who you are or whatever, for whoever's on call the day you decide to go into labor, or the day the baby decides to come out. So I kept having different doctors every time I go. I mean, it was rotational, so I would see, I saw every doctor at least 5 times throughout my whole pregnancy, so I pretty knew them well. So whatever, the doctor that I had at my 39th week appointment, he was telling me that I wasn't even dilating. And I'm like, first of all, your fingers is mad fat, so you can't tell me I'm not dilating, because the lady before you told me that I was 1 centimeter and her fingers was thinner than yours. So I'm gonna go with what the shorty said before you, okay? And for those of you who don't know, because you either don't have kids or you don't care to know, when they check you to see if you're dilating, they have to go inside, you know, your cooch and physically check if you're opening up, and that's how they tell you. So as soon as I saw him, I was like, listen, can I get a female doctor? And it's not because there was a male, because my boyfriend was there and he brought in a nurse or whatever. It's because his fingers, like his whole hand, he had a man hand, like he had a really thick looking hand. I'm like, listen, that is not gonna work, like that shit gonna hurt. So, but whatever, he told me I wasn't dilating, so I was tight. 40-week appointment comes in and I'm chilling, nothing's happening. I'm not feeling like contractions like that. Well, no, I'm lying, I was feeling contractions, but I wasn't dilating. So if you're not dilating, sis, they don't give a fuck if you're feeling contractions or not. Like, you're gonna be in and out the hospital and you're gonna be begging them, like, please take this child out, and they're gonna be like, nah, because you're not dilating. So unless you're like 4 centimeters at least dilated, they gonna send your ass back home. And what's crazy is that I had high blood pressure and everything, because my body was just like, yo, what the fuck is going on? But whatever. Yeah, I can't multitask. Like, I should have been like doing my makeup, but whatever. So you already know if I'm looking this way, because my mirror is right over here, says okay. So yeah, like, I'm experiencing labor and everything. Well, not labor, but contractions. And they're just like, we can't do nothing for you, you know, just keep monitoring, because like I said, I was having high blood pressure. So they just said, you know, keep monitoring your blood pressure, and make sure it doesn't go over a certain amount, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, sis, like, I don't got a blood pressure machine in my house. Like, I dead ass have to. So you know what they told me? They was like, oh, you could go to your nearest pharmacy and they'll have a blood pressure machine. What? You want me to go outside? First of all, it's January in fucking New York. I got you telling me I gotta check my blood pressure twice a day, so I gotta keep going to the pharmacy back and forth to see my blood pressure. I mean, I did it because, you know, it's my kid, it's my child, it's my body. But it's like, that's so inconvenient, and I'm not paying like $200 for a machine. Like, you're bugging, because I'm never gonna use the machine after I give birth. I was just like fed up. because they wasn't trying to tell me like what's going on. They was just telling me, you know, this is normal, blah 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 blah. Anyways, I was just fed up. So by my 41st week appointment, because I was not dilating by the time my due date came. So my due date came and went, and ain't nothing happening. So after so for my 41st week appointment, I was like, listen, induce me, okay? Induce me, do what you gotta do. It's already 41 weeks. I'm not trying to have this kid at 42 weeks. It's already been 10 months. Y'all wilding right now. And they went and scheduled me for my induction. So my induction was on a Sunday. And we got ready. My parents came, the grandmothers came, my daughter's godmother came, and we was just there like waiting to get induced. They checked me again. I wasn't dilated, so obviously they had to help me dilate before giving me the medication to get induced. So I'm like, all right, cool. They had to put, I don't know the terminology of it, but they went and put this balloon thing up inside, and the balloon expanded to 4 centimeters. So that helped you dilate to 4 centimeters, and once you got to 4 centimeters, it pops out. So they did that, and that wasn't that bad, just because I'm more terrified of needles than anything, and I was more concerned of the IV that they was trying to put inside me, and that was scary. Like, I don't like needles. If you know me, you know that I don't like needles. I rather not go to the doctor. If I know that I have to take a shot, get blood drawn, or get an IV, like if I have to get an IV, says you just forget the appointment, okay? Like, we're not even gonna talk about it. So, but at this point, I didn't have a choice, and obviously I had to face my fears throughout my whole pregnancy, because ain't nobody give a fuck if you scared of needles or not. You still gotta get your blood drawn, your shots, and whatever else it is that you need as a pregnant female. So, whatever. It wasn't that bad in the beginning. Like, I was like, all right, this is not that bad, blah blah blah. Still waiting to dilate, and they ended up switching the room that I was in. And once they switched the room, that was the room that we were gonna like already give birth in. Like, I was chilling. I was able to drink water and juice and soda or whatever. So I was able to drink, but I wasn't able to eat. So the balloon came out after 6 hours, and I thought I was doing great. My body just needed a little push. Then really early Monday morning, I had an urge to use the bathroom. So I'm here like calling my mom or whatever so she can help me get off the bed and you know, walk me to the bathroom. But by the time I actually got off the bed, I just couldn't hold it in anymore, and I just started pissing on myself. So my mom ended up getting a bucket for me and putting it so that I could be able to pee or whatever. But I thought, like, I had like a sensation, like I thought my water broke, but I knew it didn't break, because before we went into labor, like once we hit our 3rd trimester, we started YouTubing the heck out of labor and delivery videos to see like what to expect, even though every labor and delivery story is different. So we knew that when your water breaks, it's uncontrollable mad water coming out of you, or a little bit of trickling of water, but you can't still control it. It's not like when you're pissing, you can stop yourself from peeing unless, you know, you're exploding or whatever. After she helped me get back on the bed, everything just started coming out. I'm like all of that stuff started coming back out, all of that. So I called the nurse and I told her, hey, like lots going on, bro, a lot. It's going on, like it's going down, it's coming out, and I can't control it. Like I'm like all over the bed. So whatever, she's like, yeah, this is happening. So she checked me, whatever. They changed my sheets, they changed me, they helped me get ready. And a little bit after that, I started feeling like really intense contractions, because they were giving me some medication to help me be able to tolerate the contractions, but it wasn't the epidural. So they was like, all right, we're gonna give you the epidural, because now they're giving me the medication to start contracting harder. By the way, if you hear the baby being fussy in the background, she's with her daddy, and he's taking care of her, so it's not like I am neglecting my child. So thank you. So now it's time to give me the epidural. Now, the way that the hospital that I gave birth in works is everybody gotta get out of the room for them to do the epidural on you. But they read you the, like, everything that could possibly go wrong right before they, like, inject you. So I'm just like, oh God, like, I am not trying to hear the everything that could go wrong before we do this. But this is just something that they have to tell you, because you have to know in order for them to cover themselves in case something does go wrong. So everybody leaves the room, and now it's just the anesthesiologist and the nurse is now in the room with you, and those are the only two people allowed in the room with you. So the only thing that I felt was the little pinch that they gave me when they were putting the anesthesia on before the epidural. But it was like a little tiny pinch, and honestly with the contractions, I didn't care. Like, it was just literally a pinch. It felt like when somebody pokes, when you're tweezing your eyebrows, so that one pluck of hair that you're taking out, that's what it felt like. I was just like praying the whole time, and the nurse is like, all right, you need to hold your head down, you need to do this, getting me in the position and just holding me. She's like, you can hold me as hard as you can, it's gonna be all right. And I'm like, all right. So then my water just started coming out again, like even worse, and I'm just like, yo, this is a fucking disaster. Like, this is a lot. They were like, no, it's okay, don't worry, don't move. They finally put the the epidural in, and it was all over. Again, gotta get changed. They helped me clean up or whatever. Well, they cleaned me up or whatever. And they was like, at this point, you just can't have anything to eat. You can only have ice cubes. And the little, like, crunched up ice cubes that they gave you were like a lifesaver. Honestly, that was the best tasting thing throughout the rest of the labor, honestly. And it's crazy because you'll be like, oh, ice chips, whatever, like, I'll be starving. Like, no, that will hold you down, because that was the only thing you are allowed to eat, and somebody's monitoring you, making sure that you're not eating anything else. So they did that, and I still wasn't dilating, but my contractions, the medication kept on, like, as soon as they took the balloon out, I stopped dilating, so I was just stuck at 4. But they kept on giving me stronger dosage of Pitocin. I hate Pitocin. They kept on giving me extra dosage of Pitocin, because the stronger you're contracting, the more dilated you're becoming, apparently. But bro, that shit was crazy. Like, I can't even concentrate and do my makeup while I'm talking and telling you guys the story, because that's how intense I am. Like, that's how intense I am right now. So with the epidural, I felt way better, like, but because it took me so long to dilate afterwards, they had to like increase the dosage of the epidural 4 times. And that was a lot, honestly. That was a lot. But the second dose that he gave me a stronger dose than the first, and that made me feel like, wow, like, I felt like I was in heaven for a couple of hours, because I was able to fall asleep. I was chilling, laughing, you know, like the usual, like after you get your epidural, with all with all the chaos that's going on, you feel better or whatever. They had to give me the epidural 4 times, and at the end, oh my god, I was just so exhausted. Like at the end, that it man, I don't recommend that to nobody. Like, if you have more than one child, amen to you, because you are able to do that shit, because I'm not the one. Like, I've always said that I wanted twins, but that's out the picture. I don't got that in my genes. And I always said that maybe I could aim for 3 kids, but now I'm even contemplating the second one, because it's like, she gonna have a lot of cousins. She already got a lot of friends, you know, like, is it necessary? But people be like, oh, after you give birth and you see your child, like, all of that, you forget about it. No, you don't forget about it. I'm just letting you know, you don't forget about it. You know your labor and delivery story, and you know how crazy it is, or it's gotten. I mean, and that's not the experience for everybody. Everybody obviously is different. I'm tired of hearing that shit, but everybody is different. Some labor and delivery stories are better than others, or smoother than others. But anyways, fast forward. So now we are getting close. We're like 8 centimeters dilated, and I'm telling my doctor that I'm having like crazy pain on my ribs. So I feel like the baby's on my ribs. So if I'm on the left, like sleeping, or like turn to the left side, she's on the left. If I'm on the right side, she's on the right side of the ribs. And it was just a lot. So the doctor was just like, the doctor felt like every time I was leaning back that the baby was going up. So I'm like, okay. But when she would check to see if I was dilated, the baby's head, they could feel the baby's head. So I'm just like, how? Like, there's no way. So she ended up stretching me out when I was like 8.5 centimeters, just to relieve the pain from the ribs that I was having, because the baby was on the ribs. And I think it was at that point where she started thinking like, maybe this baby is a little too big. But this is the thought process that I'm thinking the doctor's having. So they're stretching me out, and as they're stretching me out, they're like converting the room that we're about to give birth in. They're like taking all the lights out, all the like transforming the bed, so I can sit upright, so I can start getting ready to push. They start taking out all of their utensils, heating up the baby's bed, turning on the light that's above it. Like, the room just transformed. And like, our friends that had their kid right before us, they were telling us how the room is like some Batman cave, and it just transformed, and it's just crazy. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm like, oh shit. Like, as soon as she lifted me up from massaging me so that I could feel better, like, I sat up and I'm looking at the room. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I felt like I was in a completely different room. So then they leave, and I'm just like, yo, like, I could feel my contractions again. But she had checked me before she left, and she said that I was already 9 centimeters. So, but I'm telling them like, yo, I can feel my contractions coming back. Like, this is gonna be crazy. So she's like, I'm gonna talk to the anesthesiologist again and see what we can do, but we can't give you another dosage, because if we give you another epidural, you're not gonna be able to push. You're not gonna be able to feel a contraction for when you have to push. Because they'll be too strong, and we just don't want to, we don't want that for you. So I'm like, all right, cool. I didn't say that, I'm lying. I'm like shit. Like, I was like, fuck, this epidural obviously is just gonna start wearing off. It's just my luck that it's wearing off at the fucking time I'm almost there. So the doctor left, and she left for like maybe a good 5 minutes. And when she came back with the anesthesiologist again. She came back with 2 other nurses and herself. So I'm like, okay, so we about to do this right now. Like, we already set up, everything's already out. I was the last one to walk in after all the nurses that came in and the anesthesiologist. And as soon as I saw her face, I knew something was wrong. So I was like, oh my god, something's wrong. Like, she's about to give us some bad news. And I wanted to start crying before she even like spoke. Like at that point I forgot all about the pain. And I was just like, oh my god, like the worst thing you want to do is have a feeling that your doctor's about to tell you some shit that you don't want to hear. So she's here, she starts talking about like, you know, like how I don't even know how she started talking, but she didn't go straight to the point. But from what she started saying, I already knew what she was gonna finish saying. She started talking about C-section and how they don't recommend C-section unless it's absolutely necessary, the risk factors and the benefit factors of a C-section. So then she went along and just started telling me like why I should consider it. But even before then, like as soon as she said like the C-section, like why people need it or why they don't recommend it or whatever the case is, or why it's not their first option, I already knew that's what we had to do. Like it was just no choice. This is they're gonna put me through emergency C-section. So I started crying. I was scared, like out my ass scared. I looked at my mom, and my mom is like, because my mom is, she knew, like, she's like, yeah, this is gonna have to be a C-section. And she's like, listen, if this is what we gotta do, then let's stop contemplating. You already been in pain for so long already. I was in labor for 36 hours prior to this conversation. There's no need to prolong it. So I looked at my mom, I looked at my boyfriend's mom, and I looked at my boyfriend, and everybody was just like, yeah, I mean, if this is what you gotta do, then just do it. Like, it's no sense of trying to push. Like, if it's not even safe at this point, like, I'm not gonna put my child or myself through that. 10 to 15 minutes later, the doctor that was gonna perform the C-section was there. She's like, all right, I'm here, you know, this is what's gonna happen. She walked us through it. So once she was there, I was at ease, basically. I'm like, all right, she's here now, we're gonna do this in no time. So then I started, like, I just got out of that phase of like shit is going bad to like, oh shit, now my contractions are hitting again, because now I'm just no epidural at all. And then back in my head, as in like, all right, so I don't, you know, I'm okay with the C-section. Now what's up? Like, where's my medication at? They was like, you know, the anesthesiologist is gonna give you your medication as soon as, you know, the doctor's ready to have you in the room, because obviously they don't want to give it to you too early and then it wears off while you're in the middle of a whole procedure. You know, God forbid that ends up happening. So because the doctor came so fast, the anesthesiologist was able to give me the medication that I needed when I needed it. So he was great. Oh my god, if I could give him 5 stars, he deserves his 5 stars, because he was great. He walked us through the whole process of like what I'm gonna be feeling and the medication that he's giving me and how it's going to affect me, and it was great. So we're in the room. They tell my boyfriend to wait outside, and while they prep me to get ready. So now they're like putting me on the Jesus cross position. They put me in. So I'm just like, oh god. So he's, like I said before, he's telling you like what you're gonna feel, how it's gonna go, so you don't feel the pain. So he put in the medication, and he got like this little sharp thing, like a little pointed edge of like a really thick paper, and started poking my arm to see if I was able to feel that, which I did, because obviously I don't have the anesthesia there. And then he started really poking my like the lower half of my body, which I wasn't feeling like the pokes or anything. But with the C-section, you do feel the tugging, the pulling, the sewing, the taking out, the having to breathe in while they take shit out of you. You feel all of that. Now, I never been through a vaginal birth, because obviously this is my first child, but that was crazy. So I'm just trying to stay strong. They strap your legs up, and they have like this curtain over you, and the curtain has the option of having a little window open or the window closed. Sis, I'm not trying to see whatever y'all doing. Like, I don't care. to see, like, I'm gonna pass out if I see like guts and stuff on my stomach and then a baby coming out like that. I just can't do it. So my boyfriend was able to see all of that, and he was like, oh, it's all, like, you're almost done, mind you. After they took out the baby, like, at that moment that they took out the baby, I was just so concerned to like hearing her cry, because as soon as I know that she's crying, that means she's breathing, so she's okay, and then that's it. So they was like, all right, she's out. Mind you, they're whispering, the doctors are whispering like, yo, this baby is huge, there was no way she was gonna push this baby out, which was the original reason why I had to go into an emergency C-section, because I am a 5-foot, like, 100-pound girl with a freaking 9-pound baby in me, and nobody thought to say to me that this baby might be a little too big for you until I was 9 centimeters dilated, which takes me back to my 36-week appointment where they told me that my baby wasn't going to be big. So I have that mentality, and I even kept asking the doctors, what are the chances of me having to do a C-section because the baby's too big? They're like, it's like slim to none, because that's not even an option for you. The only time we think about doing C-sections because the baby's too big is if the baby's like 10 pounds or 11 pounds. And I'm just like, well, okay, you know, the doctors know best. So, you know, I ain't gonna argue with the doctor about how big I think my kid is, because at the end of the day, I'm new to this. I don't know what's big, I don't know what's small, I don't know like what's going on. So whatever, they took out this baby, they took out my baby, she's crying and she's like perfect. So they're like, she is 8 pounds 11 ounces. Where the fuck did y'all think that I was gonna push out a 9-pound baby out of me? Why didn't nobody tell me? You had from 37 weeks all the way up to before I even got induced to tell me that my baby was gonna be too big. The fact that you got that, I'm not gonna say you guys, the fact that I had the last ultrasound and they couldn't even measure the baby because she was already too low, but you can clearly see her whole body all the way up to my ribs, should have had an alarm, and a concerning alarm, to be like, you know what, maybe this child is pretty big, let's keep measuring her, instead of putting me through a 36-hour labor that I didn't need to go through, because the C-section was literally 30 minutes and done. It was the longest 30 minutes. I felt every microsecond of that 30 minutes, but it was only 30 minutes. And I'm like, you know what, I ain't even gonna be mad. You know, God works in his own way. If I needed to experience what labor felt like, then maybe that was just what I needed to experience, but it was intense. And then the C-section was even more intense, because now they took the baby out and they're like, I guess they're putting stuff back in, but to me they put the stuff back in because really fast, because I felt the sewing right away. So they're like sewing and sewing and sewing, and then every time they finish sewing, which I think that, okay, that's it, they're done, they're like tugging and pulling and then start sewing again. And I'm just like, yo, what the hell is going on? Why am I feeling this? Now, I'm not feeling the pain, I'm just feeling the motion of it, and it's still intense. Like, it's not painful, but it's crazy. Like, I was about to pass out. I was begging the guy to give me more medication. I was like, please give me something stronger, like, I don't want to feel this, like, at least put me to sleep, something. So he gave me some, I don't know what medication he gave me, but it was like a milky color medication, and he put it through my IV, but he wasn't giving me like full dosage. He was just like putting little by little, and then as he kept putting little by little, he was explaining to my boyfriend what it was gonna do to me. So at the end, it just knocked me out. Apparently I was talking a lot of shit afterwards, so it's like a medicine that kind of gets you loopy. So apparently I was talking mad shit and I was knocked out. Before I even knew it, the last thing was that I remember from the C-section was my boyfriend telling me, oh, they're about to sew you up, you're almost done. And I'm just in my head like, what the fuck are you talking about? They're about to sew me up. They've been sewing me up for the last 15 minutes. What are you talking about? Like, there's no fucking way they're about to start stowing me up. Like, so apparently when they do the C-section, because they're cutting so much layers of your skin, they have to sew back every section of whatever they just cut. To me, that's how it felt, at least. That shit was crazy. But then after that, I passed out, and then I woke up in the recovery section of it all. And it was like, I was under obviously heavy medication, so I didn't feel anything that just happened. I just knew that my baby was born and we were good. So I'm just like, shit, having a baby is crazy. After that, you know, my family wasn't able to be with me. Like, my cousin and both grandmothers, they weren't able to be with us in the recovery room, so I had to be in the recovery room for at least 2 hours, just making sure that my medication was working and I wasn't in pain, and just monitoring the C-section, the incision that they had to do or whatever. So that's what we were doing for 2 hours. But we were able to text. The cool thing, I forgot to mention to you guys, so because we didn't know we were able to have like our phones and stuff, we didn't carry our phones. But the guy was telling my boyfriend, like, yo, where's your phone at? Like, you need to, like, you know, grab these moments on your phone. So my boyfriend ended up leaving the room real quick, getting a phone, and then giving it to the anesthesiologist so he can take pictures of us, like, as the baby came out, and like us with the baby as they're trying to sew me back up, to distract me from paying attention to how I'm feeling. So I thought that was pretty cool. That was the C-section portion of it. So after I came out of the C-section, again in the recovery room, we were just texting everybody like, hey, we're fine, like, we came out good, everything came out great, the baby's healthy, she's huge, okay, she's really big. And after we left the recovery room, the recovery like portion of the hospital, they took me in my they took me in the bed to go see my parents, to go see my moms, the grandmoms, and my cousin, just to make sure that, to let them know, like, look, I'm okay or whatever, because obviously, you know, emergency C-section, you don't know how the hell you're gonna turn out to be. I went to see them, and we told them, you know, you can go home because I gotta be in recovery mode, and we're not really allowed to have visitors after a certain time. So, and they also needed some rest because we was all together during this 36-hour madness that we went through. So everybody went home, and me and my boyfriend, we went to go see our baby. And when I saw her, I was like, yo, what? This is mine? I gave birth to this? That's crazy. Mind you, she looks nothing like me. She's all daddy. She's daddy's little girl. I was just here to deliver. But I know that's gonna change. I know she got my attitude, so, you know. Alright guys, so now I popped all my lashes, so that took a little bit. Let's finish this video up because I know this is gonna be very lengthy, a very lengthy video. So yeah, that was my labor and delivery story. Hopefully you guys understood everything I was saying, because I literally was rambling. Well, that's how it felt. Shout out to my little sister for gifting me this Milk brand, this Milk makeup. It's the lip and cheek thing that they have, so you can use this as a lipstick or a blush. So this is my final look, and I'm really sorry if I took forever rambling talking about my labor and delivery story. Hopefully you guys found this helpful, hopefully you found it interesting. But yeah, and let me not forget to tell you guys that I finally hit my 100 subscribers. And yes, I know, only 100 subscribers, but guess what, that was a goal of mine, and yes, sis, completed it. So it's on to the next one. I'm going to aim for 500 now. And yeah, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead and share this video. click the bell so you can get notifications every time I upload. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye guys.